morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po din, admin, Doc Bambi, Kat, Doc Otis.
Morning, Doc Ed. Morning po.
Morning po sa lahat. Ma'am Jessa, meron po bang need? Ipa-flash na po ba natin, ma'am?
Sir, we will start the AVP of CAPS at 8:54.
Okay po. Ma'am, may mga squares po yung naka-show.
Yes po, yung sa monitor po nung nag-show. Gawa po may mga naka-pop up po.
Okay po.
Sir, we'll play the CAPS video na po.
Okay
Tapos,
po. Sige po.
live na po tayo sa YouTube and sa Facebook.
Okay po. Thank you po.
A 112 years ago, the UP Board of Regents had a vision to develop their true firstborn college that will spearhead national development through agriculture. At the foot of Mount Makiling, Edwin B. Copeland, together with 7 faculty and 12 students, embarked on the journey to create the UP College of Agriculture, or UPCA. Through its 112 years of existence, the college has produced over 1,000 technologies and variety of plants and animals, 9 national scientists, over 30 outstanding young scientists, and more than 18,000 graduates contributing to agricultural development. UPCA, now College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, has been continuously contributing to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension function. A mere 10 years after establishment, the college was able to start breeding works with the production of sugarcane varieties with high productivity and resistance to Fiji and mosaic disease. In the 1920s, the importance of agriculture was intensified and UPCA was recognized as neighboring countries began sending their students to Los Baños because of the high quality of education. In the 1930s, breeds with superior characteristics such as the Burkhala pig, Los Baños Cantonese chicken, and filament cattle were developed. The 1960s was a fruitful decade for research. Makapuno, a coconut cultivar often made into a dessert, was pioneered and perfected. Meanwhile, the Dairy Training and Research Institute was the first in the country to freeze buffalo semen, paving the way for artificial insemination of local carabaos. Along with the establishment of UPLB in the 70s, the college received the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award for International Understanding, Asia's counterpart for the Nobel Peace Prize. In the same decade, the C4 plants were developed. The soil test kits were produced in support of the Masagana 99 program, and the mango induction technique was introduced. Continuing the production of quality research outputs in the 1980s, techniques to minimize post-harvest losses, the accelerated fish sauce manufacturing process, and the rapid test kit for the detection of pesticide residue on vegetables were developed. The 1990s saw many new varieties across species or crop types, including Sinta papaya, the first Philippine-bred hybrid, UPLB Gold, a durian variety, and Doña Amelita, a musaenda named after the wife of former President Fidel Ramos. The award-winning National Corn-Based Farmer Scientist RDE Training Program, or FSTP, was also established around this time and still remains as one of the university's primary extension programs. In the field of instruction, the book titled Integrating Sustainable Agriculture in the BSA Curriculum, the UPLB College of Agriculture Experience, was published in 1999. At present, the College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, continues to be the premier institution of higher learning in agriculture and food science, and remains committed to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension programs. In order to produce the best graduates, all of our courses are outcomes-based education, and continuous improvement of the curriculum is being practiced to meet the challenges of the 21st century. As testament of excellence, CAFS is constantly recognized by different organizations. In research, we continue to implement relevant studies with focus on the 12 priority commodities to address food security. Moreover, technologies are constantly developed to aid in responsible food production. Supplementing these are extension activities to disseminate the knowledge generated to improve food productivity and livelihood of the people. We believe that present technologies will future-proof our food systems. Some of our notable developments are IDTech, Coraginam, Plant Health and Pest Clinic, Pest Management Tools and Techniques, Smarter Pest Identification Technology or SpeedTech, Snap Hydroponics, Drone Technology, Rapid Immunofilter Assay for Virus Indexing, Nanofertilizers Fertigrow, Hormogrow, Nanobiosensors, and Biochar. We at the College of Agriculture and Food Science will continue to promote and nurture a culture with innovative yet conscientious minds and cutting-edge skills to lead and serve the country and the region. We are one college with one goal towards sustainable food systems.
Okay po. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the webinar series titled Aggie Peace Talk, Tree of Life, brought to you by the College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines at Los Baños. My name is Jessa Magtoltol of the Agricultural Systems Institute, and I am your host this morning. Later, Sir Florencio Regino from the Institute of Food Science and Technology will join us and will be our moderator for the open forum. Before we start, let me acknowledge our participants from the different social media platforms. We are live via Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. Once again, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Before we start, let me acknowledge our participants from the different social media platforms. Again, we are live via Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. This event is made possible through the coordination and planning of the CAPS Ad Hoc Committee with Dr. Leah Fernando Corpus as chair and Dr. Edna Aguilar as co-chair. And of course, headed by our Dean, Dr. Elpidio M. Agbisit Jr. A few reminders to our dear participants. We encourage all of you to use the chat box for questions and clarifications. This will be entertained after the talk during the Q&A portion. You may use the raise hand function if you wish to directly ask the resource person. The moderator shall acknowledge the participants to ask their questions. Once called, please state your name and the organization you're in. Also, only those participants who completed and submitted the evaluation form will be given a certificate. As a recap, we aired the pilot episodes of our webinar series, Aggie Peace Talk 3 of Life, last Tuesday, October 18. It is all about the sustainable coconut industry at the global perspective and scenario. It was presented by Dr. Allo of the International Coconut Community. To those who watched our pilot episode and to those who just attended today, Dr. Allo shared the importance of coconut, our tree of life, and its different uses. She also identified the top producing countries, exporters and importers, and lastly, the challenges and opportunities in the global perspective. And now, let's learn and explore together our second episode for this morning, titled Overview of the Coconut Industry. Now, from the national perspective, let's hear from the Philippine Coconut Authority. To formally open our program for this morning, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Dr. Lotis E. Mopera, the Director of the Institute of Food Science and Technology. Ma'am Lotis, good morning po.
Good morning, Jezabel.
Good morning po, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. So first, I'd like to acknowledge, the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Food Science, Dean Egpidio M. Agbisit, to the directors and to the former directors of the different institute of the College of Agriculture and Food Science. Of course, to our guest speaker, who will be introduced later, to the faculty and staff, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, to the attendees of the webinar in the different social media platforms. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. So, today's, I think, will be a very engaging discussion on the status of the Philippine coconut industry. And I would like to welcome you to the episode 2 of Agri Peace Talks. Okay, so it is right for us to discuss the status of the Philippine coconut industry just because of the fact that 69 out of 89 regions of the Philippines are actually engaged in the agricultural production of coconut. Not to mention that we are the second largest exporter of coconut around the globe. No? So connected to that is the fact that there is a solid global export growth of coconut-based products in the Philippines based on consumer demand. And it is worthwhile and worth noting what are the issues and challenges that the industry is facing, whether it is domestic or global in nature. So I encourage everyone, so please stay tuned and let us listen to our guest speaker in order for us to know how to help diversify the coconut-based products that we have in the Philippines, and also face the issues and challenges that is ahead of us in terms of the coconut industry. So again, I would like to welcome everyone to episode 2, Agri Peace Talk, Tree of Life, and magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Ma'am Lotis, for that warm greetings and welcome to start our webinar today. Indeed, we are excited and eager to learn from our speaker. So, may I request our panelists to please open your camera for our group photo. Please maintain your smile throughout the session po. Okay.
Okay po, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you.
Okay po. To formally introduce our speaker this morning, Let's welcome Dr. Edna A. Aguilar of the Institute of Crop Science. Ma'am Edna, the floor is yours po.
Good morning. Thank you. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Pasensya na po, my video is not working. But good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure and honor to introduce to you today our speaker on the topic overview of the coconut industry. Nobody else can speak about it better than our speaker, the current administrator of the Philippine Coconut Authority, Administrator Benjamin Madrigal Jr. Sir, good morning po. So, Administrator Madrigal came to PCA with a very solid background. He holds a double Masters of Science degree in Management Studies from the University of South Wales in Canberra, where he was also a recipient of the Alumnus of the Year Award in 2018. He also holds a Master of Science in Public Administration and has completed the Professional Directors Program from the Institute of Corporate Directors and is a member of the Society of Fellows. Our administrator is former Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, and he served meritoriously and dedicatedly for 38 years, receiving numerous awards, including 2 Philippine Legion of Honors and U.S. Legion of Merit. Administrator Madrigal took the helm at the PCA only in January 27, 2020, with a great challenge to awaken the sleeping giant that the coconut industry was then referred to. In just over 2 years of proactive, dedicated, and hands-on leadership, his achievements in the service of the coconut industry has merited him an Honor of Lapu-Lapu Award from the President of the Philippines. Under his leadership, the first Coconut Farmers and Industry Roadmap, to which we are very proud to be part of, was completed. So thank you for the trust, admin. Was completed and adopted. The long-awaited Coconut Levy Trust Fund Act was signed by the President, and the plan that goes with it so that it could signal the release of the funds has also been signed under his very able leadership. So, like I said, nobody else can give us a true insight of the coconut industry and what lies ahead, but our speaker for today, PCA Administrator Benjamin Madrigal Jr. So you have the floor, Sir Benji.
Thank you, Ma'am Edna. Thank you. As she has mentioned, siya po ang isa sa mga main authors natin ng Coconut Farmers and Industry Roadmap. We did in 2020 before the passage of the law. And the Coconut Industry Roadmap was acknowledged by then Secretary William Dar as the very first commodity industry roadmap in the Department of Agriculture. And then we did, of course, together with Dr. Edna and the team from DAP and the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, we also crafted the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan. So thank you, ma'am. Before I start, allow me to greet Dean LPJ Agbisit Jr., the Dean of the UP College of Agriculture and Food Science, Dr. Lilia Fernando Corpus, our organizer for this event, and the Associate Dean of UPLB CAPS, Dr. Lotis Mopera, Dr. Virgilio Villancio, Dr. Florencio Regino. Let me also greet, I saw in the screen the presence of Dr. Maridola Coticati, the Assistant Executive Director of the International Coconut Community. Doc Maridola, thank you very much for joining us. And of course, our partners from the academe and our fellow public servants, students, viewers and attendees who are with us through Zoom and Facebook Live, ang ating pong mga minamahal na magsasaka, Isa pong maganda at mapagpalang araw sa inyong lahat. Okay now? Can you see the screen? Hello?
Yes, po.
sir.
Ay, okay po. Salamat po. Next chart, please. It is our honor, of course, to share this opportune time to share our programs and projects in the Philippine Coconut Authority during these Aggie Peace Talks on Coconut, our Tree of Life webinar series. I believe everyone here will agree with me when I say that among the agricultural commodities, the coconut industry has the most complex supply value chain with vast products interconnected to their potential markets, as shown in this figure. And this figure also shows the lingering challenge of supply and demand gap and the historical disconnect of the farmers with a higher level of the value chain and limiting their participation to being raw material suppliers. But with the increasing demand of the market for reliable supply, stricter quality standards, cost competitiveness, and sustainable and fair trade practices, especially at the farm level, incentivizing farmers for more sustainable coconut production system is key to meeting this increasing market demand. As a background, coconut, as one of our country's main agricultural product, is cultivated in 3.65 million hectares, or about 27% of our agricultural land. And sadly, 80% of those are monocrop. Wala pong tanim in between the coconut trees. And the coconut industry is primarily export-focused, with the Philippines having, as I mentioned earlier, the second largest share in global production. In 2001 alone, we were able to contribute $2.5 billion in total export value. The top agricultural export actually in 2021. And it contributed 36% of our overall agricultural export. And this performance is even higher than the pre-pandemic period of 2019, which is only about $1.6 billion US dollars. Of the 15 billion nuts that are harvested nationwide, about 75 or 80% is processed into copra using the age-old technology na koprahan o tapahan sa bukid with so many of our parts of the coconut going into waste. Tulad po ng coconut water. Coconut water alone, which we were only able to capture about 5 to 8% of the total coconut water in our production. We were able to earn about 44 or 41 million US dollars, yung pong 5 to 8%. So imagine if we will be able to gather the coconut water that are thrown into waste in the sa bukid at saka sa palengke. This would have been additional income for us. And the other 20% goes to the non-traditional product derived from mature nuts, young nuts, and of course our cocoa sap. Despite the significant contribution of the coconut industry in the national economy, coconut farmers are still considered among the country's poorest. Of the 3 million coconut farmers, actually 51% of them are landless tenants and workers, meaning they earn out of wages. While the 49%, 75% of those landowners are smallholders, owning 2 hectares and below. Doon po sa 49% na landowners, kalahati lang doon ang owner-tillers. The others are owners who may be absentee owners or owners that rely on the tenants. And that's why sometimes reluctant to really pursue the development of our coconut farms. The Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan, through the Coconut Farmers and Industry Roadmap, which I have mentioned earlier, identified the challenges in the coconut industry that needs to be addressed. And along with the thematic recommendations, along with them, we came up with thematic recommendations as shown. And promoting coconut farmers' welfare, of course, and providing them social protection, strengthening and empowering our coconut organizations, because 75% of the 3 million farmers are individual farmers. And the bulk of our farmer organizations and co-ops, about 11,000 of them, about 10,000 are organizations, and only about 1,000 are cooperatives. So we really have to work double time in organizing our farmers. And of course, we need to increase and sustain coconut production so that we can pursue other potential export and domestic products that are in demand domestically also. Establishing coconut-based farming system so that our farms will become more productive, and improving the competitiveness of our traditional and non-traditional products, identifying our niche in the domestic and global market, enhancing trade and marketing promotions, and of course, strengthening our institutional and policy and other support services. As mandated by Republic Act 11524, or the Coconut Farmers Industry Trust Fund Act, which was signed on February 26, 2021, the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan, signed on June 2 this year, is geared towards inclusive growth of the industry, improving the competitiveness of farmers and alleviating them out of poverty. We aim to increase the income and productivity of eligible coconut farmers, thereby addressing the industry challenges through the promotion of social protection to farmers, improving their competitiveness, and the rehabilitation and modernization of the Philippine coconut industry. The plan sets the direction for the development and rehabilitation of the coconut industry within the next 50 years. However, during our meeting with President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. last August 1, the President has expressed his desire to fast-track the implementation of the CFIDP. Accordingly, when I said that, when he asked, what is the time range of the plan? So I said, it's about 50 years, Mr. President. He said, all of us here are more than 50 years old. We will not see the end of that plan. So probably you should come up with a shorter timeline. I said, Mr. President, we crafted before the plan, we crafted the roadmap of the industry, an 18-year development program anchored on the Philippine Development Plan 2040, which is about 3 presidential terms. And probably we can look into that, and that's why lawmakers are now asking us on how we intend to recommend, if we intend to amend, especially the timeline of the plan. Aside from providing health and medical services, which will be done through medical reimbursement and assistance through our office, we also are providing insurance coverage and scholarship for our dependents. So bubuhayin po muli natin yung COCOPED scholarship, no, na marami po sa mga ating mga mga director at mga leaders in the University of the Philippines are benefited from the said program. We also are providing social protection program components aimed to improve the competitiveness of our farmers through training and empowerment. It has 4 sub-programs to be implemented by the following agencies with respective percentage allocation as is dictated by the law. I have failed to mention earlier that the law also provides that out of the COCO levy fund that will be placed in the trust fund within 5 years, about 75 billion in 5 years, minimum of 5 billion will be made available for utilization by the and implementation of programs through the different implementing agencies. So we are planning, especially for the first 2 years, to at the minimum level of 5 billion. So yung katulad po na binabagay na, yung percentage non percentage of 5 billion. But eventually, we will increase over time, and especially if the lawmakers will pursue shortening the timeline, this will change dramatically. This slide shows the annual targets to be benefited by the social protection and sub-program components. And the following are the indicative investment requirements. Next slide, please. On coconut farmers' organization and development, as I've said earlier, only 25% of our 3 million farmers are members of cooperatives and associations. Therefore, we have a lot to do to organize and develop our farmers to become not just cooperatives, but multi-purpose cooperatives, and link them with existing associations and cooperatives, and link them eventually to the further stages of the value chain, especially the industry and the private sector. At present, the bulk of our coconut farmers, that is 75%, are unorganized, while out of the 11,500 coconut farmer cooperatives and associations, only 1,000 are cooperatives and many are lacking in capacity and documentation. In order to address this, the Cooperative Development Authority is tasked to conduct training for organizational development and form new coconut farmer organizations out of the unorganized farmers, transform our coconut farmer organizations into cooperatives, and further capacitate coconut farmer cooperatives into multipurpose cooperatives. The next program is the hybridization program, which has two subcomponents with the Philippine Coconut Authority and the DOS TPCARD working together for its implementation. 15% of the allocation will be used by PCA for the development of hybrid coconut seed farms and nurseries in the different regions for planting and replanting, while the DOS TPCARD will get 5% of hybridization research. Yung nakikita po ninyo na other agencies or entities that are in the link are those we intend to partner with, especially our universities and state universities and colleges, like the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, and other interested agricultural colleges throughout the country to pursue coconut research and development. And of course, we also intend to capacitate our farmers. That's why part of the plan is the on-farm hybridization program. On top of this, we also have from our regular budget from PCA, our development, our continued development of our local cultivars. So ito pong pondo sa CFIDP is focused on the hybrids, on the hybrid program. But we also have to pursue our local cultivars na marami pa rin naman po, no? Sabi nga, about 10 of our dwarf and about 20 of our tall local cultivars are high yielding, which we intend to continue to pursue and develop because as we all know, hybrids are not necessarily na magandang itanim po on all areas, especially yung pong malalapit sa karagatan, dahil malalakas ang hangin, shallow rooted, at medyo madali pong mabuwal ng malalakas na hangin. Next chart, please. So accelerating the hybridization program is a key strategy to increase tree productivity and volume of nuts available for sustainable growth of the industry. And this slide shows the targets in the next 5 years. At the moment, this year, we intend to increase our mother palms from 25,000 to about 67,000 and eventually reach about the 100,000 range of mother palms for our hybrids. And this will dramatically increase our capability to produce hybrid seed nuts. With the prevalent 2 hectare and below land holding, farmers need to maximize the productivity of their farms. There is a huge potential for increasing coconut farm productivity and farmers' income by intercropping coffee and cacao, as provided for in the law. The high-value crops will focus on coffee and cacao, while on the part of PCA, we have our regular program for intercropping of vegetables, no, para po pandagdag sa kita at pandagdag sa pangkain sa ating hapagkainan. We are also integrating dairy production through the National Dairy Authority and the well-adaptive native poultry and livestock program and processing through our Bureau of Animal Industry. The use of available land under the coconuts will significantly increase the country's agricultural production without opening up or the need for opening up new lands. The law tasked the 3 DA bureaus to implement the farm improvement components with the support, of course, of other agencies as shown. And this slide presents the physical targets of the farm rehabilitation and improvements program and the corresponding indicative budget for the next 5 years. The implementation shall involve the participation of other concerned agencies through farm clustering and consolidation, following standardized farm management, support for shared facilities, credit and marketing support, and infrastructure where they are needed. The next program is the integrated processing of coconuts and downstream products to be implemented by PhilMec, which intends to establish shared facilities aiming to upgrade technologies and enhance efficiencies of the value chain. Ang gusto po natin, magkaroon tayo ng village level integrated processing. And so that we will be able to replace our age-old copra making technology, intend to come up with white copra centrals, where we will be able to capture not just the coconut meat for copra and eventually produce coconut oil, and of course copra cake for feeds of our animals, and capture coconut water as well, and of course the husks and the shells na ginagamit lamang sa ngayon na panggatong po, no, sa mga koprahan. This slide shows the target number of facilities to be established and their respective indicative investments, and the number of coconut farmer cooperatives and association beneficiaries. Next program is the provision of support services with 4 sub-program components as shown. To be jointly implemented by Land Bank and the Development Bank of the Philippines, eligible farmers may avail of loans for working capital and acquisition of machinery and equipment, the establishment of facilities for production and post-production, relending and rediscounting of existing loans of coconut farmer registry system listed coconut farmer cooperatives and associations. Meanwhile, marketing and market support sub-program components shall be implemented by the Department of Trade and Industry with 5% of the annual allocation from the trust fund. Ito po ang gusto nating maabot na magkaroon ng direktang partisipasyon ng ating Department of Trade and Industry in the promotion and marketing of our products, which we have not fully explored in the past. The infrastructure subcomponent will be implemented by the Department of Public Works and Highways, and this will focus on farm-to-market roads and buildings, trading posts, and training sites, water catchment systems. The DPWH shall also give priority to the use of coconut coir and coconut net bioengineering solutions for slope stabilization in the construction of roads and other applicable projects. On the part of PCA, this is outside of the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan. We have pursued institutional transformation, and we saw the need to undertake institutional capacity building, and came up with relevant policies and regulations in support of industry development. Moreover, we need to continuously undertake innovative researches to back up the proposed programs of the CFIDP. Research efforts have to be aligned to agribusiness environment of the industry in order to achieve increased yield, income, and competitiveness. And this, we greatly need the support of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, my alma mater as well. I don't know if probably many of you do not know. Ako po ay graduate ng rural high school, and I spent a semester in agribis. In our commitment to remain transparent and ensure coordinated implementation of programs for the benefit of the coconut farmers, as approved by the PCA Board and the Governance Commission on for GOCCs, the Philippine Coconut Authority created a program management or program monitoring office to handle the monitoring and evaluation of the CFIDP programs that are implemented by the implementing agencies. As mentioned earlier, we are about 15 agencies and bureaus. Working closely with the focal persons of the implementing agencies, PCA shall consolidate reports, which will serve as working documents for planning, assessment, and evaluation of programs. And this shall also be reported to the PCA Board, the CFIDP Program Steering Committee, and the Trust Fund Management Committee, composed of the Department of Budget Management, Department of Finance, and the Department of Justice. The PCA Board shall govern and oversee the implementation process to ensure that activities are aligned with the approved CFIDP. On programs to be implemented in the Bangsamoro region, we are in close coordination with the counterpart ministries in BARM to ensure that the programs will be properly implemented in the region. To ensure the alignment of targets and consistency in implementation, PCA, in coordination with implementing agencies, initiated the drafting of operations manuals for the CFIDP national program components in accordance with RA 11524 and the joint circular of DBM and the Bureau of Treasury and COA on the release and expenditure of funds. Through the conduct of harmonization and convergence workshops, PCA and the national implementing agencies were able to finalize implementation arrangements, delineate roles and responsibilities, ladderize our programs, in order to avoid duplication of support and ensure equitable and fair distribution of interventions. Relatedly, the establishment of the National Coconut Farmer Registry System is crucial in identifying eligible beneficiaries of the law. Out of the 3.1 million registrants in the system, 2.9 million at the moment are coconut farmers expected to benefit from the CFIDP because the law mentioned that only owners of 5 hectares and below are eligible. So more than 5 hectares po, hindi po kasamang magbe-benefit dito sa provision ng batas. However, we can continue to, of course, partner with them through our regular programs in the Philippine Coconut Authority. And to ensure the integrity of our database, our NCFRS continues to undergo the listing and the duping process. As part of our commitment in providing transparency and encouraging community participation in implementation, we have also developed frequently asked question sheets, audiovisual presentations, and other information materials, which are then translated into regional dialects by PCA regional offices. These were shown during the simultaneous CFIDP launching conducted by the PCA offices and implementing agencies. And these materials can be accessed through traditional and digital media channels as well. The information campaign is geared towards providing transparency and encouraging community participation in the implementation of the program. Together with the other CFIDP implementing agencies, we are going around the different regions to roll out the regional programs and targets. PCA Program Management Office is also working on the development of an integrated information management system with various user functionalities for the automation of submissions, reporting, monitoring, and data collection. probably UPLB can also help us on this together with the OSD. This is proposed as the system that will include live dashboard analytics for transparencies, to have real-time submissions and reporting mechanisms, directory of the implementing agencies, and it will also provide help desks. Essentially, that ends my presentation po. Maraming pong salamat at mabuhay ang ating mga magdinyog, mabuhay ang industriya ng pagdinyog sa Pilipinas, mabuhay ang University of the Philippines at Los Baños. Salamat po.
Thank you very much, Sir Benjamin, for sharing with us your expertise. Hopefully, this episode this morning will help us address the issues and challenges we are facing today to our coconut industry here in the Philippines. So now, to address the audience questions, let us proceed to the open forum. To serve as a moderator, let's welcome Dr. Florencio Regino from the Institute of Food Science and Technology. Sir Regino, the floor is yours po.
Thank you, Ma'am Jessa, for the introduction. And of course, thank you, Sir Benjamin R. Madrigal Jr., for your very comprehensive talk about updates, challenges with regard to the Philippine coconut industry. We attendees and panelists are very lucky to have first-hand information on the programs included in the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan. So thank you very much po talaga, sir. Now, we will open the floor for the question and answer portion. I would like to invite our participants or attendees to type their question in the chat box or use the raise hand function if you wish to directly ask our resource person. Once called, please state your name and your organization. To our attendees watching on our College of Agriculture and Food Science Facebook page, just type your questions on the comment section and I can relay them to Sir Madrigal, and Sir Madrigal can answer your questions. Okay, Sir Madrigal. Okay po. So the first question, sir, from an anonymous person. Are you open to research proposal submissions from graduate and undergraduate students or researchers?
Yes, of course. Of course, as I've said in the CFIDP, we have 5% allocation, especially on hybridization program, to be funded by out of the trust fund to be undertaken through the OSTP card. But aside from this, also we in PCA have our research and development branch, where we are able to also undertake researches, not just on hybridization, but on other aspects of the industry development, like product development, of course, addressing productivity, pest management, and farming systems development and promotion.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Because as you know, I'm from the Institute of Food Science and Technology, and we are inclined in developing products. So,
Yes.
sir, so sa mga graduates namin.
By the way, I failed to mention, PCA has 3 research centers. No, one is of course involved in the development of food products. No, another focused on non-food products. No, and of course the development of equipment and machines to automate our production system. And we are also undertaking, of course, with the support also of IPB, no, and the OST, we are undertaking coconut somatic embryogenesis technology research. And we are also into food and nutrition research. So kasama ito, no, sa ginagawa natin.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Madrigal. So, yeah, guys, so yung may mga research proposals dyan about coconut, so you are free to submit to PCA for you to be funded. by the agency. Thank you, Sir Mad.
And by the way, no, dun sa ating especially sa scholarship program, meron din tayong programa for we can also accommodate master's degree scholarship, which will provide support also for the researches done in for master's degree program.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Madrigal, for that information. Another question here, sir, from Sir Benz Sumalinog Cruzada. He says, hello, Sir Benjamin. Maybe you know each other, sir. I'd like to ask about the Anyo CO2 program. LGUs from Southern Leyte have already submitted applications to the DA-ACPC through the PCAFO Southern Leyte. However, we have not received any update po. So I hope you can enlighten on this one po.
The DA ACPC, although it's outside of PCA, we will ask our to coordinate our regional office in Leyte kung saan niya sinabit para mahanap namin doon sa ma-follow up namin dito sa ACPC. Itong ACPC provides credit program, zero interest credit program for our farmers. So labas sa PCA ito, under ito ng Department of Agriculture. But we'll help you out. We'll find out from our regional office kung saan nandun to.
Okay, thank you. So Sir Benz, nasabi naman po ni Sir Madrigal, so tutulungan po niya kayo regarding your concern. Okay po. Next question, Sir Madrigal, what are the problems from Elmer Cabales of CMU? What are the problems initiated by PCA for coconut varietal protection, such as hybrid, dwarf, tall, to protect the variety produced by our researchers or scientists from possible illegal exportation to other countries?
Ito, of course, meron tayong existing executive order banning the export of mature nuts and seedlings. Actually, ang daming nag-request na last year we were able to file a case against an exporter na ang nakalagay doon sa kanyang sa Bureau of Customs ay mga waste paper wastes. When it was opened, actually our seed nuts, mature seed nuts, which is not authorized. May mga proponents on this na sabi, especially during the pandemic, na for us to allow the export of mature nuts, ayan, hindi ko nabanggitin yung na we have I sent a 4-page justification why we are doing this. Primarily, of course, protection of our genetic materials. Second, of course, pag inalaw natin yon, ibang countries ang magpa-process at mamamatay yung ating industriya dito. So might as well ensure that the mature nuts be processed in country so that it will have a greater value for us and of course for a greater value for our farmers.
Thank you very much, Sir Madrigal. So Sir Elmer also has this follow-up question, sir. Ang tanong po niya, ano po ang mga programs ng PCA regarding cocoa flour production and copra meal since nagmamahalan daw po ang mga wheat flour and animal feed raw materials?
Thank you for the question. Magandang tanong ito. Alam niyo, ang isang maraming hindi nakakaalam, napakaraming alternative products ng coconut that have not been promoted before or probably recently lang medyo nabigyan ng ating pansin. Una, yung binabanggit nga na cocoa flour, which is actually, pagtitingnan sa iba, waste material ng sa BCO production. And of course, yung ating mga, of course, ito sa desiccated coconut na natin na we have partnered actually, I don't know if you have seen in Pure Gold and in some supermarkets, we have partnered with Phil Bakers for the production of Pinoy Coco Pandesal. Actually, it's 90% wheat and 10% cocoa flour. Kasi hindi pwede, additive lang po yung flour natin kasi cocoa flour is gluten-free At because it is gluten-free, sabi nga hindi daw nag-expand, no? Kaya additive lang dito sa pandesal, but it can be used 100% in like hot cake, no, muffins, no, na those products na hindi naman kailangang na mag-expand yung ating flour. And ito makikita na ito healthier because it is gluten-free. And of course, medyo na iyan natin to address the high price of wheat. Our local bakers are also asking audience with us, but we have to work with our processors also. Of course, this because of the increasing price of fuel, increasing price of some other commodities, we have to of course meet with our producers para naman medyo magkaroon ng win-win solution na hindi na magiging agreeable yung ating price. Now on copra meal, of course we fully acknowledge yung effort ng ating UP Biotech. Excuse me. We are exploring ito pong industrial level production ng ating protein enhanced copra meal, which is only a byproduct din, no, ng coconut oil production, no. And now it is a protein enhanced copra meal, hindi lamang sa pakain sa mga baka. We are looking into for it to be used as alternative for soya meal for fish and of course our small ruminants, no. Kung kaya ito kung magagawa, alam natin commercially na institutionalized na ng ating biotech, but walang industrial level production ito. And this we are opening up for our private sector partners to have this be produced in industrial level, no, para makatulong sa pag-address ng kakulangan ng feeds for our livestock and fisheries.
So thank you, sir. Again, Sir Madrigal. So it's good to know that you have this project po or program about byproduct or waste utilization po, such as yun nga po, nabanggit nyo na cocoa pandesal, Pinoy pandesal, and other waste utilization products po. So because this can really help, especially nowadays that we are talking about food security, increased food production. So this can really help in alleviating those concerns. Okay po. Question from our Facebook participants, sir, or yung mga nanonood po natin sa Facebook. Para sa mga kooperatiba, paano po sila makakahingi ng tulong sa PCA?
Ano naman ito, no? Ang unang pong kailangan gawin, no, malaman natin kung ito po ay kung kayo ay nakalista o po sa ating National Coconut Farmers Registry System. No, napakahalaga po nito kasi as a government institution, we cannot provide itong aming mga programa doon sa hindi nakalista sa ating system for accountability and transparency, of course. And of course, to be able, marami po sa ating farmers kasi, no? In the past, we only have about 2.5 million farmers. And sabi nga, marami ang hindi nakalista dito, no? Marami hindi nakakalam na kailangan magpa-rehistro para makatanggap tayo ng benepisyo. No? Ito po, dahil sa accountability rin natin, masisiguro na kahit pwedeng ito pong aming system ngayon, may feedback mechanism na pag nabigyan ka, makikita din ng ating, lalo na mga auditors, kung talagang ito ba ay napapunta sa ating mga magsasaka. No? So, importante po makapagparehistro. No? Registration can be done online or offline, or can visit our offices in the provincial and regional offices. We can also try visiting our municipal and provincial agricultural office, no, ng LGUs who are very well aware of how to be able to link with the Philippine Coconut Authority. No, ito po ang pwede nating gawin.
Okay, thank you, sir, again. So the same question was asked by Miss Marian R. De Luna. So same question po, Miss Marian and Sir Juni. Sabi po ni Sir Benamin Madrigal na you need to register first for you to avail those benefits, and also you can register online or offline by visiting the agricultural offices.
Saka, Doc Flor, I think yung kay Marian, she was also asking about organizing coconut farmers, no? Ito magandang ano to, no, malaking napaka-importante, no, na through our municipal provincial agriculturists who are in meron naman kasi kaming mga tao, no, of course at the provincial level. May kakulangan tayo sa people on the ground because we are a small organization, no. But through our LGUs, in some LGUs, in fact, they have opted to allow the recruitment of agricultural officers to be funded by the LGUs in support of our this CFIDP, no. And dito itong mga ito yung ating bibigyan ng together with the Cooperative Development Authority, no, to organize our farmers. Sabi nga 3 level, no. Yung mga hindi organisado to be organized by municipalities, yung mga contiguous areas, ano, para and otherwise link them with existing cooperatives or organizations. Tapos itong mga organizations na natin through CDA, through our DTI, dito sa marketing, ano, and of course through ATI and TESDA for training, and of course through our people in LGUs and the PCA, may convert itong organizations to become cooperatives, no, so that they can avail of other programs such as credit facilities, no, na ano ito, no, yung iba sabi pa paano ba mangungutang yung farmer, ay ang mahigpit ang mga requirement ng Land Bank and DBP. Of course, the organization or the cooperative can actually apply for the loan, and pwede naman nagkaroon ng relending within the organization through the loans that will be provided by the banks.
Okay, thank you, Sir Madrigal. So another question here, sir, from Dr. Velilio T. Vilancio po, the director of the Agricultural Systems Institute. Are there any party list representation of coconut sector in the lower house?
Ang atin pong walang ang alam ko walang specific na sa party list sa ating lower house, you know. Ang meron, nakita ko na meron kalimitang sa amin, merong andyan yung abono party list, magsasaka party list, no? And but specifically yung sa coconut industry, apparently may mga nag-attempt siguro but they were not successful, no, in representing the coconut industry.
Okay, thank you, sir. Another question here, sir, from Miss Carol Gay Aguirre Calan, Sebaste. So good morning po, Sir Madrigal, she says. I am from Calan Sebaste Antique Coconut Farmers Association. I'd like to inquire if it is possible to have multiple shared facilities in one town, since it is difficult to transport coconut without trucks that are available in our association.
Yan po yung programa natin, kay Ma'am Carol, putting up village level integrated coconut processing. No, ang ginawa po natin dito sa development plan, we actually asked the different regions to come up with their respective regional coconut farmers and industry development plan, aligned of course with the agricultural industry plan of the region or the province, and these are endorsed by the provincial and regional development councils. So kung ang maganda po nito, kasi ito nga may mga nakalagay po na mga initially mga approved areas and allocations per region. no, what we can do is make this proposal, no, especially identify doon po sa Regional Development Plan na makikita po sa ating mga PCA offices at saka sa NEDA. No, kasi the plan was endorsed by the different RDC. So, kapartner po namin ang NEDA dito sa paggagawa nito. So, kung meron po gustong ipasok, hindi po, ang sabi ko nga, para hindi arbitrary sa PCA na mag-a-approve, this has to be fully endorsed by the stakeholders in the localities in the region. So, through the Regional Development Council. Mano naman po ito, but of course, kung halimbawa may allocation, wala pang beneficiary, then pwede pong pag-usapan nyo doon sa inyong lugar kung pwedeng kayo ang maging beneficiaryo nito.
Thank you, sir. Don't worry, Ms. Carol, as Dr. Matigal says, it is already incorporated. Yung concern nyo po ay already incorporated na sa Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan na gawa ng kanilang agency. Thank you, sir. Another question here from Mr. Vicente Vinaque. I would like to ask the IRR of PCA because as we observe in our town, ang inyong focal person ay hawak po
Sa lead.
sa leeg ng LGU.
Pag,
Bakit daw po
paano kayo matulungan na nais makamit ang government program? Paano niyo matulungan ang mga victim of discrimination of LGBTs?
So,
Sana matulungan ninyo kami.
So sa mga small farmers po, paano mo po silang matutulungan, sir?
Ano naman po ito, no? Of course, pag nakikita sa amin naman po sa ganang Philippine Coconut Authority, tayo naman ay hindi po involved sa politika. No, ang importante makikita natin yung viability at saka yung capability of the association to benefit from the program. No, pwede naman po ano yan, ano? Ang atin pong yung hinahanap po ninyo na IRR, actually ito na po yung development plan that was approved by the President. No, there's no IRR required in the law except the plan that has to be submitted and endorsed to the President for approval. But ito nga po, actually yung assessment naman po, pumapasok naman po dyan ang PCA at ang ibang ahensya. No, hindi lamang po PCA kasi lalo na kasabi ko nga partner natin dito ang Cooperative Development Authority, partner natin ang TESDA, ang ATI na para makikita at masiguro na pagbenepisyo para po makabenepisyo sa shared facilities, kasama po naka-incorporate po dito no yung convergence of our program. Sabi nga kung kayo ay bibigyan ng pasilidad, kailangan magkaroon ng training, kailangan organisado no at para eventually mabigyan ng pasilidad, bibigyan din ng credit facility no para alam naman natin pag naitayo yung ating integrated processing baka mangailangan ng additional operational fund which can be done through access to credit facilities. And dito matulungan naman natin po, hindi naman po ito saklaw ng ibang ano po no ng ating mga LGU. So ano naman po ito, convergence of programs. So ano po natin, ma-address naman po natin yan na hindi tayo nahahaluan ng politika sa programang ito.
Okay, thank you, sir. So again, the PCA, sabi nga po ni Sir Madrigal, is ready to help you out. Sa mga small farmers po natin dyan na need ang tulong ng PCA. So wala pong halong politika, ready pong tumulong ang PCA sa inyo. Okay po. Another question here, sir. Maybe our colleagues from the NCPC can also answer this one. So, sir, one devastating from Facebook, sir, devastating insect is the rhinoceros beetle were affected by or damages almost 80 to 90% the past decades. Now, question. What method of controlling this insect? What are the methods of controlling these insects? Another question, sir, can we avail coconut seedling and how many seedlings can we avail for individual or association?
Actually, kasama ko dito sa aking tabi, no, yung aming head ng research and development. Technical yung tanong. No, at alam niyo, nabanggit naman po kanina ako'y sundalo. No? Management ang natin. If you will allow me, I will ask my head of the region of the research and development to answer that technical question tungkol sa addressing rhinoceros beetles. No? But of course, kasama ito sa aming integrated pest management program. No? Ito si Mon Rivera, no? Also from UPLB, no, ng 79.
78.
78 pa, 78. Ako.
Magandang umaga sa
80
inyong
ako,
lahat.
80.
At ako'y nakapagtrabaho rin sa Ilocos, no? Napansin ko na Ilocos yung source ng tanong. Talagang mataas ang population ng rhinoceros beetle sa Ilocos. At yan ang rhino beetle ay isa sa pinakamahalagang peste sa coconut. No? Sa ngayon, ang treatment na ginagawa natin ay more on biological. Meron tayong green muscardine fungus. Ito yung tinatayo natin yung mga traps, no?
Log traps.
Log traps, and then lalagyan natin itong fungus na to. Meron din later nung dati yung earlier yung baculovirus, no? So biological control ang ginagawa natin. Pero for immediate, we can also use pesticides, no? Lalo na kung sa seedlings. But right now we are also exploring yung pheromones, no, to attract yung both the male and female na rhino, so we can reduce the population of the insect. So we're doing our best to really control hindi lang ito, pati yung Asiatic palm weevil. So we are doing our best to really manage, no, itong peste na to ng coconut. Maraming salamat po.
Isama mo na rin yung CSI.
Oh yes, no, the CSI, ang ganoon na lang ating approach, no. When we want to reduce the population, we use, lalo na kung infestation, ay chemical. But right now, we are using also biological agents, no? So, para mas na-address din natin, especially lalo ngayon na ang direction ay organic farming. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Sir Rivera, for answering that technical question. Going back, sir, yung additional question po niya, how can they avail coconut seedlings and how many seedlings can they avail?
Ano naman to, no? Ang ating coconut seedlings po ay libre, no? Hindi po ito ibinebenta. No, but of course, yung ibang coconut farmers na nakapagtanim, baka ito pwedeng sa kanila, no, na ibinebenta nila itong ibang napoproduce nila na seedlings. No, of course, they have to be certified, no, na lalo na yung ang isang programa na natin dito na pag nagtanim, siguraduhin natin na high yield variety, no, para naman hindi sayang yung natin kung mababang kalidad. Of course, we don't expect na natataas ang kalidad ng kanyang bunga, no. And ito ay yung depende sa laki ng kanilang ng kanilang lupain o ng kanilang pangangailangan. Ang importante lang, sabi ko nga, mag-register, no, dito sa atin, because we will be able to provide this, plus of course technical assistance kung kasi pagtatanim niyan, of course kailangan lalagyan din natin ng konting pataba to make sure na it will grow healthy yung ating mga pananim. And in our program ngayon, we are developing seed farms in the different regions. Kasi in the past, our yung ating coconut seedlings are only production is only done in our PCA managed seed gardens. And sabi ko nga, hindi tayo makakahabol sa requirement kung gano'n ang gagawin natin. So right now, for hybrids, we are undertaking on-farm hybridization program, partnership with farmers. Sa ngayon, about 48 on-farm partners yung aming evaluated, and eventually mag-ano na kami ngayon ng memorandum of agreement with these farmers para sa kanilang mother farms, no, yung sa buong farm niya, hindi lahat rerentahan ng PCA, yung mga identified mother farms na makikita magandang source ng ating seed nuts, tapos eventually ilalagay natin sa nurseries, no, bago ipamigay. And we are also undertaking, yun naman sa local cultivars natin, seed farms for local cultivars. Right now, we have about 18 seed farms for local cultivars. Kasi sabi nga, yung mga magagandang local cultivars natin, yung sinasabi nga sa norte, yung Sanchez Miratol, no, na malalaki ang bunga, makakapal ang laman. Depende, ang isang gusto nating maintindihan ng magsasaka. At the moment, we have actually more than 250 varieties ng coconut. No, at sa local, sa hybrid, we have 50 more or less. Pero sabi nga, ang recommended lang ng ating research development sa ngayon, mga 5. No? Doon naman sa 250, mga 30 10 tall and or 10 dwarf and 20 tall varieties na magagandang yield. But of course, dapat aligned, not only adaptive doon sa kanilang areas, but aligned with the industry plan. Halimbawa, sabi nga, kung ang gusto mo ay cocoa sugar, which is derived from sap, galing sa tuba. No, o kaya gagawa ka ng lambanog, o gagawa ka ng ethyl alcohol, o kaya yung sabi nga, gagawa ka ng aminos, yung ating healthy soy sauce. No, baka hindi alam nung no, na meron tayong mga healthy alternative products, no. Ito, merong variety that only produces 1 liter per day. Meron ding variety na nagpo-produce naman ng 5 liters per day. So kung yun ang gagawin mong negosyo, why plant yung puno na 1 liter per day? O saka bakit ka tatanim ng matataas na puno? Tatanim ka na lang ng mga dwarf at na malakas mag-produce ng tuba para hindi ka mahihirapan, mas mura ang iyong labor, and at the same time, you'll produce more tuba and more cocoa sugar eventually. Ganon din daw sa VCO, merong variety na mababa ang kanyang lauric content, merong mas mataas. So, nung tanongin ko nga si Dr. Dairit, what is the best? Kasi iba-ibang proseso pala yan, no? Ng paggawa para VCO. Sabi ko, what is the best process, Doc? Sabi niya, at the end of the day, it's not the process. It's genetics. No? The best variety. So ito, importante yung meron tayong ginawa ngayon na identified varieties that are very much recommended for particular industries.
Okay, thank you, sir. So para po kay Sir Yodivico Verzola, siya po yung nagtanong ng question, sir. Siya po ay from La Union LGU. So you can avail free seedlings po from PCA. Okay, thank you, sir. So another question here, sir, from Dr. Barbara Kawili po, the Director of the National Crop Protection Center. Good morning po, and thank you for a very insightful presentation. CAF's UPLB has been engaged with PCA in pest and disease management. May we know how can we further this collaboration for the development or crafting of a comprehensive integrated pest and disease management program for the Philippine coconut industry?
Maganda pong tanong yan. Ano? Again, ibabalik ko kayo dito sa aking research and development head. No? Kasi siya ang pinagagawa ko ng plano. Parang ito, sabi nga, yung aming vision for the research and development branch na maka-focus na saan yung pangangailangan ng industriya. No? Kasi in the past, nakita ko kasi na sabi nga, research should not be done based on ano yung gusto mong i-research, ano yung kapabilidad mong i-research, but rather on the needs of the industry. And of course, pest management is one. But dapat ma-explore pa yung iba-ibang aspeto ng industriya. So I bring back Mon Rivera to answer that question.
First of all, I would like to congratulate Dr. Bambi. Siya ngayon ang head ng NC National Crop Protection Center. Actually, tama si Dr. Bambi. Matagal na kaming nag-collaborate. Pero kanina, nung dinidiscuss ni Administrator yung tungkol sa Republic Act 11524 and then yung CFIDD, this is high time that we should really collaborate more, no? Especially now that we have funds, no? Hindi yung hybridization kasi kasama ang protection eh. And we can also, actually, ang direction ng aming administrator is through digital agriculture. So if we can really use this and develop technologies that we can really have a very good surveillance, no, system para sa detection, no, early detection itong ating mga peste. We could be, actually meron tayong nampisa nito sa CSI, and we can move forward from that, and then maybe collaborate also with the Philippine Space Agency and also with the group from UPLB. So I think we need to sit down together and then make a very good program, and then we can request funding support from so many funding agencies, not only in the Philippines, no, but also in the international community. So I hope that we can communicate and really may blessing tayo with ng administrator. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sir Rivera. Thank you, Sir Madrigal. So, Ma'am Bambi, be ready with your proposals, and PCA very eager to collaborate with us. Okay po. Another question here, sir. From PSTC PDI, Mr. Manuel de Guzman. So, good morning, sir. I'd like to ask if meron po tayong modern technology of harvesting and dehusking of coconut po, at least to reduce production costs.
Yes, actually ito yung ginagawa ng aming mga grupo diyan sa Zamboanga Research Center. Nasabi ko nga mga non-food products and of course mechanization research, no? And dito sa CFIDP, I have also asked yung ating partners sa TESDA. Alam ba, sabi ko nga yung medyo para hindi mo na parating tinataga-taga yung gilid ng puno, no, pag umaakyat ng bundok. No, meron naman sa TESDA, tuturuan sila ng paggawa ng yung medyo sa tulong ng simpleng equipment ay makaakyat ka. Gagawin ito at the same time parang model, pero eventually bigay na rin sa kanila para yun ang gagamitin nila sa kanilang mga bukid. So may tayo dito sa test. We are nandito sa research natin sa Zamboanga, then we are collaborating with TESDA for the inclusion of this sa kanilang programa. And of course, sa PhilMec, no? Kasi sabi nga ng PhilMec, ngayon pa lang talaga sila mag-concentrate sa coconut because all these years mostly nakapokus sila sa rice mechanization.
Okay, thank you, Sir Madrigal, for answering that question. So maybe we can have last question, sir, here about the prices of the goods nowadays. So sa presyo daw po, bakit daw po ang presyo ng kopra? Again, this question was asked by Dr. Virgilio Villancio. Bakit daw po ang baba ng presyo ng kopra pero po ang presyo ng mantika sa domestic market ay mataas pa rin?
Salamat po. Maganda pong tanong. Before I answer that question, let me cite, na when I assumed in 2019, the price of copra farm gate is about 13.50, 13.50. Sa mill gate, aabot po siya ng 18. And that was December 2019. I assume January of 2020, the marching order then of President Duterte, paki-address, sir, yung presyo mababang presyo ng copra. From 2020 to 2021, dire-diretsong paakyat po ang presyo ng ating coconut. Such that by the end of 2021, the price of copra at farm gate more than tripled. No, from 13.50 umabot po ito ng 45, sa iba 50, farm gate level. No, farm gate level. At umabot kaya nga ang taas ng ating, sabi ko nga 2021 2.5 billion, more than almost $1 billion increase compared to 2019, pre-pandemic. Bakit? Because una po ang presyo ng ating produkto, because this is an internationally traded commodity, we are primarily export focused. Ang presyo po is dictated by the world market, no? So we also benefit during that time, aside from the pandemic, we benefited also from sabihin nga parang misfortunes of some commodities like nagkaroon po ng long drought sa Brazil, nagka-problema ang canola sa Canada, tapos nag-hold ng export ng palm oil ang Indonesia. So kulang ng kulang ng oil na market. So agawan ng kaya po dire-diretsong pagtaas. Pero sabi nga hindi naman normal yung presyo na yon na umaabot ng ganong kataas. So eventually, sa ngayon po, basically because of aside from yung opening up of the market, of course, the problem in the increase in yung ating price of fuel, tapos the dollar exchange rate, naka-apekto ito. Kasi sa paggagawa po ng mantika, kailangan po ng mga chemicals na ini-import natin. Yung ating sinasabing refined and deodorized oil, kailangan po ng ng mga imported na materials. Kung kaya bumaba, actually hindi lang po coconut oil ang bumaba ngayong taon na ito. Lahat po ng vegetable oil bumaba ang presyo. Ngayon, mataas yung presyo po ng mantika kasi kailangan mo pa ng ibang reagents o ibang mga chemicals to make it into cooking oil. And this adds up to the increase, continued mataas pa rin na presyo ng mantika. Hindi naman kasi, yung iba kasi, although in some areas, sabi nga, katulad dun sa Ibisan, Capiz, yung kanilang crude coconut oil o CNO ang tawag natin, crude coconut oil from copra. Pag tinignan mo, ang linaw na nung mantika niya, na actually ginagamit ng cooking oil doon sa kanilang lugar, But of course, kung commercially of course with higher standard ng kailangan ng additional chemicals to really make it into sabi niya RDB oil. Yun po ang dahilan natin, Ngayon po medyo dahil sabi nga nag-open up ang ating nawala na rin yung ban ng Indonesia sa palm oil, so medyo dumami na rin yung supply ulit, plus of course yung increase in dollar exchange rate, yung continued problem natin sa fuel, all this continue to adapt to the stable, medyo mataas pa na price ng ating mantika.
Okay, that's the last question for now. But Sir Madrigal, we still have more questions here, this means that our panelists are very eager to ask questions to you, sir. Para po ma-answeran natin ibang mga questions offline, okay? Sir,
Doc Flor,
Yes,
ko lang yung isang question dito yung tungkol sa scholarship, kay Queen Montilla. Our scholarship program will be done through primarily through CHED. CHED pa rin ang ating mag-undertake. We have about 400 million for every year na available for this. Now, aside from this, we are partnering, of course, with UPLB, with the STP card para magkaroon ng continued research on coconut. And at the same time, para maging source din namin ng personnel eventually, para magkaroon tayo, we need to continue to build up our, sabi nga, yung ating succession of mga experts that we need in the industry. And that we are doing through our partnership with the SUCs, especially UPLB.
Okay, thank you, sir. So for the last part, sir, of this forum, do you have any announcements, sir? Para po ma-wrap up na din natin, do you have any announcements or anything you would like to promote, such as your social media accounts?
Yes, thank you. Una sa lahat, again, marami pong salamat for giving us this opportunity to provide information to our stakeholders on the current thrusts of the Philippine Coconut Authority and our intent to our programs in order to fully develop the industry and at the same time ensure that our our coconut farmers benefit from this development. Ito po ang isang through itong sabi nga itong CFIDP implementation ngayon po ang year 1, sabi matatapos na yung taon, medyo pasensyahan na po dahil na-approve po yung ating plano middle of the year bago umalis si Presidente Duterte. But of course, with the guidance of President Marcos, who is currently our secretary, sabi niya to ensure na madaliin ang implementasyon nitong plano na ito. No, and dahil dito we have regularly met with the implementing agencies kasi sabi nga kung titingnan ninyo, those who have core competencies do sa mga programa sa kanila ibinigay yung pera. So what we did was centrally plan, centrally do the planning kaya through and come up with that development plan, but decentralized implementation and centralized monitoring, no, through itong ating monitoring and evaluation. So ito naman, hopefully this will be the key really para sa susi sa pag-improve ng buhay ng ating mga magsasaka. But at the same time, we are asking, of course, our private sector, no, siyempre doon sa development plan na ito, sabi niyo, makita niyo, wala namang binanggit tungkol sa private sector. Nandun po sa Coconut Farmers and Industry Roadmap. Dahil ito pa, yung Coco Levy came from the farmers, yung programs are intended for the farmers. No, so ito naman sa ating roadmap po, doon may natin yung paano maikonekta ang ating mga magsasaka in the whole value chain. And of course, we need the participation of the private sector in all these programs that we are doing, especially in technology development, productivity, and farmer competency enhancement. So sa inyo pong lahat, maraming salamat sa University of the Philippines at Los Baños. Maraming pong salamat sa aking mga kababayan dyan sa Los Baños.
Okay po. Thank you, Sir Benjamin Madrigal, our administrator of the Philippine coconut industry. We really appreciate po your effort for taking the time to be our speaker for today's webinar session. And we hope that your efforts to implement an integrated and inclusive coconut industry development program for the benefit of our coconut farmers will continue to materialize. And of course, the College of Agriculture and Food Science is united with you in this advocacy. Thank you, sir. And Ma'am Jessa, the floor is yours now.
Thank you, Sir Reginio. Thank you also to our participants for their active participations, and of course to Sir Benjamin for the additional insights and information during the Q&A. For further questions and clarification po, the CAPS Webinar Committee will forward the questions to Admin Madrigal. Thank you also to Sir Monrivera for being with us today. Also, here with us from the staff of ICC Indonesia, shout out to Ridula Kotikate. At this point, on behalf of the College of Agriculture and Food Science, we'd like to present this certificate of appreciation to Sir Benjamin R. Madrigal Jr. for serving as the resource person on the overview of the coconut industry during the Aggie Peace Talk Tree of Life held on 20 October 2022 via Zoom. Given this 20th day of October at the College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Laguna, Philippines, signed by Dr. Elpidio M. Agbisit Jr. Thank you again, Sir Benjamin, for being with us today. And now, for the announcement, please stand by for our episode 3 and 4 next week, October 25 and 27, with the topics, the initiative of government agencies to boost our coconut industry, and increasing coconut production, collaboration, and prospects, respectively. Also, let me take this opportunity to thank the people who made this event possible. Special thanks to the CAPS Extension Committee and the Ad Hoc Committee, to the Institute of Food Science and Technology, and to the ASI webinar team for your full support this morning, and to Ms. Joanna Vergara, who's with me today, and to Ella Reynoso, probably watching from Arizona. El, maraming salamat, and of course to our speaker, Sir Benjamin, for extending your time today. Thank you so much po. And now, for the last part of the program, and to formally close this webinar, may I call Dr. Virgilio T. Vilancio, our Director at the Agricultural Systems Institute. Doc Hill, ikaw na po.
Okay, maraming salamat, Jessa. No? And of course, isa pong pagpupugay sa ating magiting na administrador ng Philippine Coconut Authority, kay General Benjamin Madrigal. Ganon din po, pasasalamat po sa presidensya ng aking kasama, kabatch, si Dr. Deputy Administrator Ramon Rivera. Nandyan po at kasama po ni Administrator. Ganon din po sa ating mga kasama dito sa College of Agriculture and Food Science, si Dean Agbisit. Ganon din po si Director Bambi ng NCPC. Si Dr. Lotis Mupera po nasa kanyang klase by this time. Ano po. And then, of course, dun po sa ating panelists na narito, mga kasama natin na ating pinasalamatan para sa maisagawa po itong ganitong webinar. No? At nakita naman na po natin kung ano yung kondisyon ng pagsasaka sa Nyugan dito sa Pilipinas. At makita po natin halos ika-3 parte po ng agricultural land sa Pilipinas ay nasa Nyog, no? At siya yung top export products ng Pilipinas. Pero ito pong mga nakaraang dekada, kung makikita ninyo ang resources na ibinigay sa larangan ng pagniniyog ay parang very minuscule, napaka-liit po. Talaga namang kung pupunta ka po, ako po'y taga Quezon. So kung makikita mo yung mga munisipyo sa Quezon, despite the fact na libo-libo po yung hektarya ng Nyugan dito sa ating lugar, ay isa po ang Coconut Development Officer sa isang munisipyo. Kaya nakikita ko rin yung kakulangan talaga ng PCA na mahayon o marating yun pong ating mga magsasaka. Ano po. And then if you will remember, kasi kami po yung mga una halos na nakaranas, nakasaksi na yung pong mga COCOFED scholar. Ano po yan ni Mon Rivera na pinakasikat na scholar dito sa UPLB ay yung COCOFED scholar. Napakalaki po ng allowances niyan. Kaya lang po, Administrator Madrigal, yan po yung isang disappointment ko. Kasi yung tatay ko ay magniniyog, ako po ay nagpahinga ng 1 taon, pasado sa UPCAT, at ang NCAA ko naman ay mga ganon, mataas din. Pero unfortunately, dahil dun sa ilang mga bagay tungkol sa politika sa aming bayan, ay hindi po tayo napasama doon sa nabiyayaan ng COCOFED Scholarship. No? So sana po ay itong mga programa natin ngayong gagawin sa scholarship ay maging mabiyayaan po, lalo tigit yung pong mga anak ng mga magsasaka sa Nyugan. At nandiyan naman po yung yung safeguard, kasi yung registration, yung NCFRS, no, ay isang malaki pong hakbang para makita po talaga kung sino yung tunay na magniniyog, no? Dahil napakaganda po ng programa na to, dahil inisama na hindi lang po yung may-ari ng Nyugan, kundi pati yung mga tenant at saka yung mga coconut farm worker. At alam po naman natin, bagamat hindi nabanggit, ang isa po sa pinakamahirap na magsasaka sa Pilipinas ay yung pong nasa larangan ng pagniniyog. Kung makikita po natin yung poverty situation ng mga magsasaka. Nasa mga Nyugan po yung mas mahirap na sektor. Dito nga po, kaya ako po naitanong kung may party list representation yung mga magniniyog sa Kongreso. Ayun nga po, unfortunately, wala po. Kung tingnan natin, mayroon tayong about, sabi natin, mga 3.1 million farmers, no? Kung titingnan natin, kayang-kaya natin kumuha ng kahit 10 pwesto sa Kongreso kung mamobilize lang natin yung mga magniniyog, ano? Pero ano naman po, for a while, nagkaroon po ng representation through the Small Coconut Farmers Organization nung una pong paglunsad nitong party list system sa Kongreso. Kaya nga lang po, dahil sa nagkaroon din ng mga pagkakahiwa-hiwalay ng mga interest groups sa mga magniniyog, nagkaroon din po ng problema dito. Alam po naman natin, may COCOPED, may COPRA, may choir, may and many more. So siguro ito yung isang pagkakataon din na siguro magkaroon ng effort na ma-harmonize, ma-level up itong mga organisasyon na to alang-alang po sa industriya. Bukod pa po yung UCAP na ngayon po ay ito yun naman yung grupo ng mga mga millers and so on. So sana mapag-ugnay natin yung interest ng mga magniniyog ng mga processors sa lahat po ng aspeto doon sa value chain. Sa coconut value chain, ang pinakamahina po ang negotiation power. Ayun pong mga magsasaka. Ano po? And yun po. And alam naman natin na yun nga, nabanggit ko kanina, isa lang po yung CDO sa bawat isang munisipyo. Dito po sa Laguna, 3 munisipyo yung nagsasama sa isang community, yung CDO natin, o Coconut Development Officer. Yung Nagkarlan, Liliw at Mahaya yata ay isang CDO dito sa Laguna. And so much so, dun po sa region 1, sa Ilocos region. Kasi although may potential din yung Northern Luzon sa coconut. So sana po ay maging kasama rin itong sa pagniniyog dun sa isinusulong ngayon na Provincial Agriculture and Fisheries Extension System para ma-reinforce yung coconut sector pagdating sa larangan ng extension. Kasi minsan po palaging na yung ibang munisipyo, with due regards po naman dun sa mga development-oriented local government units, palaging sinasabi, PCA yan, hindi yan sa Municipal Agricultural Office. So, dapat maging mapagtibay natin itong ugnayan. So, isa pong pa dito, parang masyadong mahaba yung proseso na yung proposal po ng munisipyo dadaan pa sa probinsya, dadaan pa sa Regional Development Council bago din makarating dun sa PCA at get endorsed dun sa appropriate agencies. So siguro ito rin yung maging malinaw kasi nakakapag-participate po ako dun sa mga social groups na involved sa coconut at ito naman po yung nakikita rin ni kasamang Mon. Na talaga pong yung reklamo na sa Misamis Oriental, sa Mindanao, maraming hindi nakakaalam ng programa natin sa PCA. Pero yung mga kasama natin sa Quezon Administrator ay well aware at talaga naman kung paano ipagtanggol yung programa ng PCA, gano'n na lang doon sa mga grupo. Pero marami pa rin po ang sadyang di nakakaalam na may napakagandang mga programa ang Philippine Coconut Authority. So ngayon po, isa pong malaking bagay kung yun nga po magiging kasangga natin at patuloy na kaibat natin yung lahat ng organisasyon including yung mga state colleges and universities like us doon sa ganitong eskema o mga hakbang para sa larangan ng pagniniyog. Ang isa pong nakita ko lang doon sa presentation tungkol doon sa coconut-based farming systems, para pong nawala administrator yung SCUs doon sa collaborator, no? Pero ito po ay nais ko lang banggitin na noon pong mga 1980s to 1990s napaka-aktibo po yung ugnayan ng UPLB at PCA pagdating sa pagpapalagaan na po ng coconut-based farming systems program. Kasi doon po sa disenyo ay nakalagay po doon sa high value commercial crop ng program ng DA, yun pong sa coconut-based farming systems. At dito po ay siguro gusto naming makita rin at matingnan at willing naman po kami na makipag-ugnayan sa PCA pagdating doon sa coconut-based farming systems program. And with that, patuloy pa kaming umaasa na with the enactment po nitong batas na para sa paggamit po nitong Coconut Industry Trust Fund ay mabibigyan na po ng mas malaking pansin ang sektor po ng pagniniyog. At ito po ay malaking ika nga ay injection sa Philippine Coconut Authority. Hindi na lang tayo aasa doon sa corporate fund ng Philippine Coconut Authority para po tulungan itong 3 milyong magsasaka at saka itong 3.6 million hectares. At ganoon din po, alam po naman natin, almost 20 million people yung involved po dito sa coconut value chain, mula po dun sa logistic providers hanggang sa processors. At ito po ay napakalaking sektor para patuloy na bigyang pansin. At umaasa po kami na si Administrator Madrigal will stay hindi sa loob po ng kahit man lamang sa loob ng 6 na taon hanggang although alam kong retirado na siya sa serbisyo, but I think still will and able para po magserbi sa sektor na to. At mapalad po tayo dahil kasangga po natin ang administrador ngayon, taga Los Baños, and of course alam po niya ang damdamin ng mga magniniyo. Yun lang po, at maraming salamat at sa ating magiting na administrador upang sa ganun po ay maitaguyod yung mga programang kanyang nasimulan. At umaasa po kami na patuloy po kayo maging administrador dito. Kahit man lang po sa loob ng 6 na taon ay malaking bagay na para makita natin ang kaganapan ng mga ating ay mga dinanais sa larangan po ng pagniniyo. Yun lang po, at maraming salamat po muli.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Doc Hill, for that message. Indeed, we learned a lot for today's episode. And now, for the evaluation, you may access the evaluation form by scanning the QR code on the screen or through this link. And once again, please stand by for the next episode of the webinar series, Aggie Peace Talk 3 of Life. Next week, we will feature research and development initiatives of the government agencies to boost our coconut industry, to be presented by Dr. Alan B. Shano of the DOST Picard. See you and kita-kits po. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
A 112 years ago, the UP Board of Regents had a vision to develop their true firstborn college that will spearhead national development through agriculture. At the foot of Mount Makiling, Edwin B. Copeland, together with 7 faculty and 12 students, embarked on the journey to create the UP College of Agriculture, or UPCA. Through its 112 years of existence, the college has produced over 1,000 technologies and variety of plants and animals, 9 national scientists, over 30 outstanding young scientists, and more than 18,000 graduates contributing to agricultural development. UPCA, now College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, has been continuously contributing to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension function. A mere 10 years after establishment, the college was able to start breeding works with the production of sugarcane varieties with high productivity